You want to be sedated,
Whoa.
Mitch?
I want to be sedated.
Yeah, I hear you. Me too.
I might be sedated already, though.
There you go. Hey, nothing wrong with that, right?
Right.
It's um, it's good to be prepared. So tell me this. I don't know about
Okay.
you all, but anybody else just itching to get the hell out? I mean,
I am.
I mean, m- my Knox and I are usually on a first name basis, and she seems to be ignoring me right now because she thinks I'm ignoring her. So, but the weather has
That that
not been cooperative.
that next storm is supposed to come through on Thursday. It's just gonna go just under us up here.
I mean, we had one day where it was about 56 degrees. I think it was Sunday. It was like 56 degrees, but we seem to have gotten the storm they had down south. We got a ton of rain, and there was like 60-mile-an-hour winds from probably about 5 o'clock at night until I got up at 6 or 7 the next morning. I heard it all night long. All night, I heard that wind whipping around. This like at 5 o'clock, dude. The sky got dark. You know, um, usually that's a bad sign if it gets like that here because usually we get a tornado pop up or something. But man, it was bad,
Yeah. We don't
bad.
get tornadoes. Don't usually pop up this far north,
We've
but
been getting for the last 3 or 4 years. We've been getting a couple a year here.
this
So it's nothing. No, not like a F4 or F5, but um, when you FLX is here. When you live out in the farmland, an F1 or F2 is probably not a big deal. But when you live in an area that's it's the city, man, it's congested. You
yeah
know, then it's a big deal because there's no missing this and missing that. It just goes,
takes
man.
whatever it wants.
Yeah, and then as soon as that was over on Monday morning, it's been in the low to mid teens the whole rest of this week. It's not going to start warming up. Ed, Flash in your pan is here. What's up, Ed? Long
Hey
time
Ed,
no see. But it was and then towards the weekend here, it's going to start to warm up a little bit, like 35. Um, I think Sunday's 38, and then or something like that, or 35 on Friday, 38 on Saturday, and then 40s on Sunday, 40s, mid 40s on Monday, and then there's 2 days where it's going to be 50. So basically, it's mid 40s and up all next week, which I'm looking forward to because I need to get out digging, man. Seriously. I mean, we're almost done. We're almost at the end of February, and I got one coin, an IHP, last week. That's all I got, man. I just haven't
well,
been out.
I'm up here in the north, so there's no digging for a while for me.
So, yeah, I got nothing, man. That's all I got. That a couple buttons, a buckle. It was all like two hunts. I think I've been out 4 times total, and not long because one of the days I was out, it got really it started. It was all right, and then all of a sudden it's like from nowhere, dude. It's like 15, 18 mile an hour winds. It's just it's too hard. It gets a little too hard to swing when it gets like that. You can't hear anything. It's a pain in the ass. But
Yeah,
2 feet of snow, yeah, nah, you can have that, dude.
yeah,
We've
we got
actually
about that here.
we've had more snow this year than we've had in the last 4 or 5 years, but none of it was. I mean, we had a half an inch one time. I think we had an inch and a half another time, 2 inches another time. I think the last one we got last week, we got 2.5 or 3 inches. It was gone the next day. When you couldn't even tell it snowed. Um, Yeah, I'm in the same boat, John. I'm in the same boat, man. I mean, a few
I got
relics,
this many IHPs.
a few relics, couple buttons, and an IHP, and that's the extent of it. So we got a lot of stuff to make up for.
This is what I got so far.
A marble? You got a marble?
I got a couple.
Yeah, it looks like
I
Brian.
get them in the camera.
Yep. Oh, you get two. A few.
There we go.
There
Got
you go.
three.
I
That's
think
my
Brian.
2025 finds so far.
I think Brian, you're digging it up there. He's just got snow upon snow upon snow. I think he's up in the Syracuse area, so that sucks. But so check this out, man. I don't know if any of you guys have seen it or been watching it, but um, there's been a really good documentary on History Channel this week. It started Monday night, and then it ends tonight. It's Thomas Jefferson, and they usually do a really good job with the documentaries. The George Washington one was really good. My favorite one to this point was the Grant one. That was really good. And this one's pretty good too, and I like watching them because, doing what we do, we kind of know the gist of things. It just kind of comes with the territory, but you find out things that you didn't know, like Grant had a big drinking problem.
I think that was well known though.
Was it? And
Yeah.
then Jefferson. So I'm watching I saw the first two, the last ones tonight. Jefferson, holy cow, dude, that dude is a hoe.
Yeah, he could keep his pecker in his pants
Dude,
for sure.
he was flat. Man, I think he had 7 total kids with his wife. Now he lost 2 or 3 of them. I think 1 or 2 to miscarriage. A couple of them died very young. They didn't have medicine and antibiotics and stuff like that. So yeah, I get it. How the
Yeah,
end
it's
goes.
probably more common.
Then his wife gets sick after one of the miscarriages or one of the births, and she dies and passes away. So then he goes and takes some kind of ambassadorship in France, right? Paris. He goes to
Yep.
Paris, and he takes one of his slaves with him. And at that point, this is 17 early 1780s, 1782, something like that. And at that point, slavery was illegal in Paris. So he had to actually pay her to be like a maid, technically.
Yeah.
So he didn't get in trouble, not to mention the scandal that would have caused. And she was 14 years old.
Oh.
Right? He's 32 at the time. Got her pregnant like 7 times, dude. Seriously. Not all of them survived, but and the funny thing is he's technically related to her because it wasn't uncommon for slave owners, to have slave mistresses, and at that point you have a kid, that's half your DNA. Well, his father or father-in-law, this kid was, it was partly his, so technically she was related to him. So 2 things. One, he's lucky there was no such thing as child support back then, for one. And 2, apparently that wasn't an unusual thing for a 32-year-old, to marry a 14-year-old. It wasn't that unusual. What's the old saying we got here? 15 will get you 20.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And that apparently that wasn't the thing back then.
It, there's, I think there's a big thing where a lot of people have are descendants of Thomas Jefferson because he get around so much. He knocked up a lot of people.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, he lived in Virginia, right? In
Yeah,
Monticello, he lived in Virginia. He was constantly away when he was married to his first wife. Spent a lot of time in Philadelphia. So, back and forth, back and forth. I mean, it's like he would come home for like 3 weeks and be gone for 9 months. So he'd come home, boom, and leave and come back 9 months later and boom, another baby. Now, funny thing is, we laugh about it now and joke about it now, but can you imagine? I know, right? Can you imagine? Can you imagine if they had social media back then? You know, a future president of the United States having baby mama problems and baby mama drama and all that stuff. Crazy, man. Absolute crazy. But the other cool thing, though, on a lighter note, was how he got chosen, to write the Declaration of Independence. And the funny part about it was, I don't know if you call it funny, but ironic, was it took 21 tries over a 3 week span before he had a draft that they all agreed on. And the
yeah,
very first one he did, which I'd love to see a copy of it. You know how they have in there, how they have the old, all men are created equal and blah, blah, all that stuff.
yeah, yeah.
Well, he had a 52 word paragraph in there talking about, how slaves are equal and they should be equal, and African Americans and black people should be equal, this and that. Yet he owned like 20 something slaves. So they were all like, no, 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 you can't put that in there, man. You can't put that in there. You can't put that in there. But I like watching them because I like watching these things because you wind up seeing things, and you wind up learning some things that they don't teach you in school. Teachers don't talk about it in school, especially at our ages. Back when we were in school back in the 70s and early to mid 80s, there's a lot of stuff that just was not talked about. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
And
Yeah, we they never covered Civil War or that
well,
time period at
well,
all.
it's not even so much that. It's just that they didn't get into like the the not so subtle, um, or the kind of smaller, finer things. Like they talk about how Grant had alcohol problems, and he died broke. They don't talk about that stuff. You know,
Yeah.
they don't talk about they don't talk about Jefferson being like pimp daddy and stuff like that. They just stuff they didn't when they didn't want to talk about. Yeah, most of the stuff, yeah, it wasn't even correct.
Yeah.
You know, and so they only taught you like oh, Grant, yeah, he was a you know uh, uh, great soldier, and was responsible for um, getting General Lee to surrender and won the Civil War and all that stuff. And that's all the things they ever talk about. They didn't talk about the other stuff. Jefferson, oh yeah, well he was one of our forefathers, and he wrote the Declaration of Independence. And now I sit there and looking at it going, how the hell did he have time to write the Declaration of Independence? He's fucking everybody, man. When did he have time to write the Declaration of Independence? You know? So
Yeah.
it's crazy, man. It's just it's crazy. It's good. And another thing is John. had mentioned this as either yesterday or the day before. Um, it's really cool kind of to watch it because, you know, we dig up things from these eras, you know. So when you're talking, when you're talking, Declaration of Independence, July 4th, 1776, which I found out last night watching, technically, it was July 2nd, technically. Um, so, I mean, you sit there and in it, it's even talking about, they were showing, how, uh, I was sitting there watching with my wife and, and they start mentioning, how they secretly did all this. This wasn't something like the whole, there was no whole country. It was just basically the 13 colonies. It's not like everybody got together, and they had a coup. They did it all secretly first. Now they did, contact the other people in the other colonies, but and they start talking about how, King George III, has committed crimes against us and this and that. And I'm just kind of sitting there going, something. I just kind of see, I kind of look at things differently now, and I went and I looked like in one of my display cases, and I showed my wife. I said, "This is who they're talking about." I had like 3 or 4 KG3s in there. I said, "This is the king that they're talking about." I said, "How cool is that? That you know to dig up something that may have, it might be from right around when they were doing the Declaration of Independence. You don't know the provenance and the history of that coin. Obviously, you weren't there, but it's from that time. So who
It was
knows?
struck during that time, and probably in England. Then it made its way over here during the war.
Well, they also shipped a lot of. Like, remember, we did that one show. They used to ship British coins over here because that was the currency back then. They used
Yeah.
to ship them over here by the cases. Thousands and thousands and thousands of them. They were, they weren't, they weren't like super rare or anything like that. Certain ones maybe, but it was just kind of cool to sit there and watch and sit there and think about, how you're stepping on ground, man. You're on hallowed ground. That's the one thing I think people who are not in the hobby, and I think people that are in the hobby, but either one in it for the wrong reasons, or two, just haven't had anybody to kind of push them into the right direction, to move them towards where it's possible for them to find that stuff. Um, so if you know anybody like that, take them under your wing and take them with you and let them get that first, IHP or that first 1800s. But I'm telling you, man, they'll never go back to whatever they were doing. But it's just so, I think sometimes even us, we like the history, we love the history, but I even think us sometimes. What's up, Anthony? I think even us sometimes, you know, kind of take for granted the opportunities that we have, you know, and um, we just assume sometimes that we're just going to get onto a field and we're going to get over, something 250 years old. Um, so I think so, especially, if you kind of, you know, and we've all been there before, where you kind of get on that roll, man. You get on that streak where you just, you're like you almost feel like you can't miss. Then you miss for like
Oh
six,
yeah, when you're digging all
like
kinds.
6 months in a row. So I
Yeah.
think sometimes we kind of take that for granted, thinking that we're gonna get out there and we're gonna every time we go out we're gonna find that stuff. And you know, I think we sometimes I think, even myself sometimes I just need to kind of take a step back and realize that, you know, you could put the work in, you could put the time in and the research and all that stuff. That don't mean nothing, man. It helps. And in the end, it will mean something, but not every time, man. It just it's not every time. And I think sometimes we all take that for granted, you know. You know, believe it or not, one of these days, Richie's gonna go hit a dump. He's not gonna find a fucking marble.
It happens.
It
It
does.
happens more than you think.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, you get onto it, especially like you find a new place, and you get onto this new place, and you look and you go, this looks really good. And then you're on your way home driving, going, man, that thing looked really good. I don't know what happened, man.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
Sometimes it's even in metal detecting, you got to find that right spot, whether it's somewhere in the field, where there's some activity that took place years ago, or the right spot in the dump where the stuff is older. Or you just got
It's
to
like
find that spot.
metal detection is like a woman, man. You got to find the right spot.
Right.
Exactly. And most of the time, you're not. But um, I just, it kind of makes you kind of step back and think a little bit, man, and just appreciate, the opportunities that you've had, um, and especially when it's like this, and weather's not cooperating and stuff like that, and you just can't seem to get a break and be able to get out and dig. And I think it's a good time to kind of, not just kind of not just kind of get yourself ready for when the weather breaks, but kind of get your head right a little bit, and I think it's a good opportunity to, not take whatever is going to be coming your way, and not take any of it for granted, and just don't assume, you know um, you know even though a lot of us have had a hard time getting out weather-wise, you know, and then all of a sudden, boom, weather's going to break, and now we can get out. I'm not expecting to, my first time out, when I get out next week when the weather breaks, I'm not expecting to go out and hit 3 coppers. I'm not expecting to hit any. 3 coppers would be fabulous, but you know what? I'm just gonna be grateful, grateful to just kind of stand there in the field and just kind of take my time and swing, and whatever comes comes. Damn, Alan says he hasn't been out since November. But I mean, it's really, it's a blessing, man. It really is. It's really a blessing to, you know,
Well,
be.
having a break in the wintertime just makes you appreciate it that much more when
Oh,
you get back to it.
yeah. See, but the thing is, like, this year has been um, probably definitely the worst winter since I've been detecting here, and not so much because of the snow. The snow has been really a non-issue. Um, it's just that it just seems like we get that 4 or 5 day cold spell where it's just cold enough to freeze the ground up, and then we'll get 3 or 4 days of like 40-degree weather, 43-degree weather, 45-degree weather. But by the time those 3 or 4 days are up, it's just enough maybe to start throwing the ground back out, and it freaking gets it's in its 20s again. It's just like it just doesn't, and that's usually here. I have about a 2 week span most of the time, no more than that, um, where that happens, and
Yeah.
you just can't get the shovel in the ground for a week and a half, 2 weeks, and then we're fine. This year, it's pretty much been since January 1st. It just has, man.
One
It's
of
been,
those years.
yeah,
This Up this way we get 3 or 4 months that not going to do much of anything. So
Yeah, that is my drug of choice as well. Yeah, digging AA meetings. Yeah, I know, right? We're all in withdrawal, man. We're all in withdrawals. But
anybody get a new machine out there? Anybody going to swing
I don't
something
know.
new?
I don't know. But it's it's we're just a month away from spring though, man. I think spring's what, the 21st of March, so Friday it'd be 30 days.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I,
that's
I I just gotta wait and see what the weather brings me. I mean, I could be digging in a
Ashley's
couple weeks, or I could be digging in a month and a half.
yeah, Ashley's completely right. We bitch when it's too cold, and then next thing you know, it's going to be July, and you know, we're going to be bitching it's too hot. There's no happy medium here, man. There really isn't.
You know, we got to have it perfect all the time. 60 degrees, the ground thawed.
So Nancy says the new Knox 800 and only used it twice. Well, you got to fix that problem. You got to fix that problem because, you know, you know, you got to break that knock. That knock's not even broken in yet. That's not even broken in yet. You got a ways to go till that thing's even broken. Nothing beats the beast. But yeah, you got to break that thing in, get that thing out there. But um,
Triple score. Doc
that's
has got some weird names for their machines, I'll tell you.
who Nokta.
Yeah, Nocta.
Yeah, yeah,
Score, double score, triple score.
yeah. But
I got the Legend. I'm happy with it. It's a good water machine. That's what I use it for.
Nancy's in the same boat you are. She said it'll be May before she can use it there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Richie gets snow in May. In case you didn't know that, I've seen it. I've
Yeah.
seen it happen. I've
Yeah.
seen it
We,
happen.
what was that? Two years ago, we were having a
We
live
were
stream
streaming
and
in May, and it was
yeah.
right before the show started. You're like, "It's snowing." I'm like, "Dude, it's freaking May, bro."
Believe it or not, I've seen it snow in June.
Uh, Being out twice with it, trust me, it took me, Nancy. It took me 6 months to a year with my 800 before I really, really started to feel comfortable with it. Now, I was getting out twice a week, so but yeah, I mean, there's a lot to the machine, but once you know it, and once you like become one with it, it's amazing,
Hey,
amazing.
Ashley, is your husband hunting the water, or is he a land hunter? Or?
I don't probably not.
I'm just curious. I got a Legend. When I use it on land, it's usually because I want to use a little 6-inch coil if I'm in like heavy gravy with the nails.
Yeah,
But most of the time I use my Deus 2 on land, and I use my Legend when I'm in the water.
gotcha. So also, before I forget, let's give a shout out to our sponsor, um, the Ultimate Finds Box. So if you guys need accessories or even machines, we'll get the best deal we can for you, and every machine sold gets the whole accessory package with it for free. The shovel prop, the bumper guard, the coil stiffener, um, the port cover, um, everything, everything, everything you get for free, the whole package with it. So you can contact myself or Eric. Um,
Yeah, I don't blame you. Deus 2 is an expensive machine. It's for
yeah,
the mana core,
I
so
mean,
it's a
I mean, if you're gonna spend that kind of money on a machine, then you got to it's got to be something that you're gonna religiously get out a couple times a week at least with it. Um, Other than that, I tell people all the time, don't go and buy an expensive machine right off the bat because you go and pop out $1,500 for a machine. and a month into it, you decide, yeah, this really isn't for me. Yeah, that's a
I,
lot of money to put
and
out.
my first machine back, what was it, 13 years ago? I bought a AT Pro. And you know something, Bobby?
Yep.
I looked the other day and they still sell the AT Pro for the same money that I paid for it 13 years ago.
You know, I don't want to bash. I don't want to bash another company. You know, because I'm a MindLab guy. I'm partial to it.
Yeah,
But they're kind of
yeah, they're in the past, the AT Pro.
yeah. I mean, Garrett's kind of you know, in my opinion, they've kind of fallen behind a little bit. You
Yeah.
know, I think even Nokta kind of overtook them a little bit.
Well, Nokia come in and they had machines with multi-frequency and they had them at a decent price, almost the same price as you could buy a Garrett.
Yeah, yeah. So you know, uh, I even heard they're kind of scaling down, you know, things, certain things, um, like you know, like having reps and stuff like that they used to have, or this, you know, like they had the Garrett girls and people, you know, represent. I even think they stopped doing that,
Yeah.
because I think they're just cutting back, you know, because um, you know, there's more competition now. You know, there's more competition, and some of these other companies that were Ian Aiken, what's up, bro? Some of these companies that were kind of here, you know, you go back to like 20, what was it, 2019 ish, late in 2019, they came out with the Simplex Plus, you know, and
Yeah.
it was kind of, you know, a little bit of a jump start for them. And then all of a sudden,
It was a waterproof machine at a entry level price. That
right. Yeah, it was like two. I think I pre-ordered the Simplex Plus before it came out. I pre-ordered it in like September. It was supposed to come out the end of September, early October, and we didn't actually wind up getting them until like Thanksgiving, because you know it's supposed to be a waterproof coil, and something happened when they put the wrong coils on, so they had to redo everything. And then I got it, and I took it down. When I got it, I took it down to the beach. When they say waterproof coil, it is a waterproof coil. If you're going to freshwater, you get anywhere near wet sand or the salt and salt water, that thing chirps and chatters more than two women on a Victoria's Secret
yeah.
line.
That it's not made for that anyway because it's not multi-frequency.
No, and they should have made that a little bit more clear instead of just saying, "Oh
Mhm.
yeah, waterproof coil." You know, I think they should be a little more transparent and say, "Listen, it is a waterproof coil. You can submerge the coil, but don't take it in salt water,
Yeah.
or it's not going to do well, you know, on a saltwater beach. You know, when you get down towards the wet sand and it's got this the salt, the mineralization, it's going to chatter, and the only way to
Yeah.
get rid of the chatter, um,
To cut down on your
um, yeah, you got to cut down on your sensitivity.
yeah.
You know, so now you're going to lose depth.
You're not going to get much depth with a single frequency machine
No,
on
but if you
on
got to
salt water anyway.
if you got to put your frequency, if you got to change your sensitivity from say 25 down to like 15, that's a big deal, man. You're almost cutting that in half,
Yeah.
you know, just to get rid of
Now,
checker.
now we'll now we'll tell you the Simplex is a great machine in the river up here because Dennis
Dennis lives that,
kicks
yeah.
he kicks my ass all the time with that. If you want to see something incredible, come on up and hunt with me and Dennis. You watch Dennis in action
Oh,
with that little
I've
Simplex.
seen Dennis's videos when he's in the river with that.
Dennis he'll find a bell no matter what.
Right.
I mean, Kelly and I we just marvel at him because he'll get going on the river there and he'll have this and he'll have that.
Right.
Yeah.
but yeah, man. I mean, um, it's it's yeah. So I think some of these companies, I think they just need to be a little more forthcoming and a little bit transparent. I know when they are getting ready to launch a machine or launching a new machine, they want they
They
want
want height.
hype. Yeah, they want the hype and everything else. Um, but the thing is, I think I think if you're more transparent about things, I think what happens is if there are issues, you know, when you get it, when you first get it, I think people would be less pissed off about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
It,
if I didn't,
almost every machine that gets released has some issues.
yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
and that's the thing with Garrett. The last couple of machines they've come out with, we're all hyped up. The Apex um, uh, didn't do well, didn't sell well. Now they have the Vortex out, and um, you know, I've seen a lot of people complain and have issues with it. But see, that's the thing too, is when a new machine is coming out, um, um, it's not always the best thing to get it when it first comes out because sometimes they have glitches. Sometimes there's software issues, and they send software updates for them to try to fix whatever glitch or issue there is. So sometimes it's better to let them come out and kind of see how it goes for a few months. See, get the feedback from other people that have bought it, and kind of form your opinion on that. Because once you buy a machine and you're 2 or 3 months in, yes, you have a warranty, but you don't want to have um, you don't want to have buyer's remorse. You know what I'm saying? So and a lot of people, some people get really easily frustrated with stuff like that. I mean, when I got that Simplex Plus, and it didn't do well on the beach, especially towards the water and everything. Um, I mean, I didn't really get mad because I think because I pre-ordered it, I got it for like $274. So for $274, what do you expect? It was great on regular land. So I mean, you just kind of, sometimes you get what you pay for, you know. So
Yeah.
and then if you decide you like the hobby, you enjoy the hobby, you decide you're going to stay in it. Um, you know, then go and upgrade. Like I went from there and I went and bought my Knox 600, and I said, all right, see how this does. I could have that thing completely, be up to my waist in water and nothing, not a chirp, not anything. So I mean, I don't do a lot of water hunting, but back then I did more um, than I do now. I don't really do it now anymore. But when I was doing it, um, you know, my 600 just it was beautiful. It just didn't make it not a sound. I'm sensitivity all the way up if I wanted it in salt water and quiet as could be, as if I was in the middle of a farm field. Nothing.
Mhm. I almost ended up with a Knox back when they first come out. I sold my Xterra 705, make room, and I sold my I had what was it? Vista Gold analog machine. I sold that too to make
Sell a
room
keg, swing for
because the
50.
Knox was coming out and the Nokia Impact was coming out, and nobody had any Knoxes. They were all sold out, sold out, sold out. So I couldn't get one. So
Yep.
I said, well, I got to have a machine. So I ended up with a Nokia Impact instead.
Yeah. I mean, um, I bought my Knox, and I think the Knox was already out a couple years already. When I bought my 800. So, um, everybody just I kind of just watched, and um, I had already had the 600. Um, I knew the differences between the two, and I just saw so many people with Equinox 800s, and very few people with anything really bad to say about it. I saw one or two people who like completely submerged theirs and pretty much drowned it, and you can't really judge it by that, because you know you don't know if whoever these people were, if at some point have like dropped their machine and there was like some kind of little tiny crack, that they didn't see,
Yeah.
where water could have got in. But um, it's I've just never, I'm just one of those people where if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, I've had my 800 now for 4 years. 4 years. Not a single problem. Not one. And the battery life on it is so good. I mean, it's incredible. Hi, big girl. Um, so and
That's another thing. If you buy a machine and you use it for a few years, eventually the battery's gonna
right,
be an issue.
right. But so far,
So somewhere down the road.
I've used mine a lot. In the 4 years I've had it. Well, actually, it's gonna be 4 years in April, I think. But I've used it a lot, and I charge it up full. I could go out for 8 hours, and I'm still around close to half battery. And I know some people do prefer some of those machines where it takes like double A's and triple A's, and you can just bring extra batteries with you and pop it out. I don't want to be bothered with that.
I did that for a long time when almost all the machines were like that, and it's
Yep,
pretty expensive.
it does. It gets expensive. Plus, I like the fact that I could just stand up my machine, plug it in, charge it. When it's fully charged, unplug it. I'm done. I'm ready to go. I ain't got to worry about it. It's not worried about it.
Yeah. Like my Deus 2 and my Legend, they're not fully charged. I don't fully charge them for the winter. They claim the batteries will last longer if you don't keep them fully charged all the
Yeah.
time.
Yep. So yeah, now like John says, he said the VDIs on the Knox crack him up too small, but at the same time, I like the fact that the VDI only goes up to 40, because um, for me, and that's just me, it's not for everyone, but for me, for me, it makes it easier for me to kind of have an idea of what I've gotten over. I don't have that range of 1 to 99. You know,
Yeah.
so I like it because um, between having that smaller range and only using 5 of the 50 tones, so you take the VDI plus the tones, and I have a pretty good idea of what I've gotten over or close to it. Um, so I kind of like that. Any settings, ideas on saying use AT Pro. I am not a Garrett guy, so I would
I could help you with that.
absolutely useless as far as that goes. Um, so I mean, for a Knox, absolutely, but at the same time, you know, I can help anybody with a Knox, but what I have my settings on and how I use mine might not be as comfortable for somebody else. So I mean, you have to kind of play with it a little bit. Yeah, I don't like the Garretones either. Not a fan. Um, that's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons why I've only taken my Xterra Pro out twice, is because um, even though it's a Mind Lab, that VDI, again, it goes from 1 to 99 or whatever, and it completely the I've only taken it out once, and I let somebody borrow it to take it out once. Um, it's just the VDI has just messed me up. What was the Knox VDI on a 2 Real? Well, that depends on how it's sitting. That depends on the meat, how much meat it has on it. My 2 Real, if I want to remember correctly, it was about a 2930 in the ground, and out of the ground, it was around a 32 ish, 33. Mine was high. As a matter of fact, if you look at my video, if you look at the video that I have when I dug it, I kept saying, this better not be a clad quarter. This better not be a clad quarter, because it was ringing up at first like a 2930 on my Knox, which is about what a clad quarter would come up. I 41, yeah. But and then once I got it out of the hole, it was a click or two above that. But yeah,
Now,
it depends. It depends on how it's sitting.
before the Knox, there was the Xterra 705, and that scale went from negative, was it -10 or -6 up to 40?
Right.
And it used the same scale. And I love that scale because you could use all the tones, full tones, and the tones were so wide that it didn't make a when you found a target, it didn't jump between two different numbers. I mean, because the zones were so wide.
Right. So yeah, my 2 Real is about, it was, I'd say it was just a tick under what a braided would be. So, and it also depends too, because I know certain coins, especially older coins or Spanish coins, I know a lot of them, sometimes they were minted with, like, for instance, I think the Pistorines. I think some coins were minted with 90% silver. Some coins were minted with like 75% silver. So that's gonna change things. That could fluctuate.
Yeah.
A little bit. But man, all this talking about this shit, we all need to just shut up and get out and dig and have something to show, man. Seriously. If I don't hold a Doug Copper in my hands soon, serious, man. I feel like this is last year. I've gotten out a few times, but nothing, just nothing really substantial. And last year, I didn't get out so about this time because I was sick. Now I can't get out because of the weather. I need to get out and get that good 3 hour, 4 hour hunting, where the weather's permitting you to be out there that long without you can go crazy. Ashley said she's going to be 65 on Sunday. She's going to go get more cans and iron. There you go.
Hey, go where the cans and iron are. You never know what might be hiding underneath.
That's it. You get rid of the cans and iron. You got to get the trash sometimes before you get the treasure.
Hold on, Bobby.
What's that?
It'll be 65 on Sunday.
Not here.
Is that Ashley?
That's Ashley's in Tennessee, I believe.
Yeah.
Don't quote me, but I think she's.
It'll be Sunday. I'm going to get more cans than iron.
Let's see.
Okay, it's going to be 65. All right. I thought
man,
she
not
said
here.
she was going to be.
We got
Okay, I misunderstood.
Tomorrow, 35
Because on Sunday, Bobby might have forgotten, but Sunday is my birthday.
That's right. I did not forget. As a matter of fact, we're gonna do we're gonna do we're gonna wish Richie a happy birthday, and he gets Richie's birthday music.
Thank you, Phil. I know you just had a birthday too.
Yes, Phil's I think was second.
Last week, right?
Second. I think Scuba Sonia's was Saturday the first, and I think Phil's was Sunday the second. Okay, no more cheesy music.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for the happy birthday wishes. I'll be 57.
57. I remember
Yeah.
57. Vaguely. But yeah, I remember it. But Jeff was around that time too. Um, but what was I gonna say? I was gonna say something stupid and I don't remember what it was now. Um, yeah, I don't remember. I have some timers. But the birthday boy, are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained? That's for sure.
That's it. But yeah, man. I mean, yeah, it's only gonna be 43 on Sunday here. So 43 is better than it's been this whole week. So I'll take 43. And yeah, Nancy says, let us know when your new book is available.
Yes, everyone will know because I'll definitely have
We'll
that
plug
out.
we'll plug it. We'll get it plugged in. We'll
Yeah.
get it plugged in. All
But if you
right.
don't have my old book, it's not that old. It just come out in November. It's still on Amazon.
So that's awesome. Um, so hopefully you guys damn, not see why Ashley, why man, why Ashley? Ashley said her dad's birthday is also on Sunday. He'll be 54.
Oh, uh, we got matching birthdays.
Man, man, I'm old. I feel old now. I'm old. I feel old. Wow. But hopefully this weather, you guys, some of you can get out this weekend or this week coming up. Please, please, please. I'm older than her dad too. Please, somebody out there, go find a silver, go find a copper, and this week or this weekend, and get ready to show it. We'll do show your finds next week, and hopefully we all got something to show. You know,
Unless I hit a coin star, I don't know if I'll have anything to show.
you know, even if
Mhm.
it's a button. Right now I'll take one of those. But y'all have a great, great, great evening. And if you get a chance, that documentary Thomas Jefferson is starting in like a 1 minute on History Channel. It was really the first two were really good. Tonight's the last one, so I'm kind of curious to see who he's screwing this time. But y'all have a great, great evening, and we will see you guys next week.
Night, everyone.